Hello, everyone. Great elite. Good day and special greetings to you. In this discourse, we'll still continue colonialism. The video I did before was basically focusing on the first general governor called the Frederick Law Lugard. And we've explained how Frederick Law Lugard created the Nigeria Council and what happened after that and what led to the formation of National Congress of British West Africa. So in that National Congress of British West Africa, we also made known what happened, how they requested for a lot of things in London, whereby the then colony of state in London, Lord Mina said their interest was centered. So in the long run, a lot of things were not given to those persons that requested for those following items like elective principle, legislative council, university, and lots more. But in all of their requests, most of the things was attained. One of them was elective principle and the legislative council. So the elective principle and legislative council was firstly attained as far as Nigeria is concerned. I mean, Africa is concerned in Nigeria. Okay, basically after it was attained, Nigeria was attained in Sierra Leone and it was attained in Ghana, then attained in Gambia. So those were the four British colonized countries in West Africa. So we'll now be observing in detail right now the pre-independent constitution as far as Nigeria is concerned, or colonialism partaking to Nigeria. So what happened? How was constitution initiated in Nigeria? So as far as constitution is concerned, it can be traced to Clifford in Nigeria. Clifford was the first person to organize or hold a constitution in Nigeria. So Clifford was the second general governor as far as Nigeria is concerned. He was the second general governor from the year 1919 to the year 1925. So when he was in position, he did a lot of things. In the year 1922, Clifford, initiated a constitution. So in this constitution, a lot of things were given to Nigeria. Okay, but what I will do here is I will break the discussion into two parts: merit and the demerit. I mean, the advantages and the disadvantages. In the advantages, I will talk about what Clifford gave to Nigeria and it was beneficial, and in the disadvantage, I will talk about the effect of the constitution, which was not beneficial to Nigeria. So, firstly, the advantage. One of the main things Clifford gave to Nigeria was legislative council. So legislative council started under Clifford Constitution. This legislative council actually was having some minor right to make a decision on certain issues, not that it was having full right to make decision on all issues. The number two thing that was given by Clifford to Nigerians is the elective principle. This elective principle gave room to what we call election, and this was able to aid political institution as far as Nigeria is concerned. And this political institution that existed in Nigeria created room for the formation of parties or political parties in Nigeria. The first party to be formed in Nigeria is a party known as the Nigeria National Democratic Party, NNDP. So this Nigerian National Democratic Party, NNDP, was initiated by the grandson of Samuel Ajayi Crowther, okay, to whom was a first slave to be made a bishop. The grandson of this Samuel Ajayi Crowther is Herbert Macaulay. Herbert Macaulay was the initiator of this first political party, NNDP. So NNDP was initiated in the year 1923. Okay, but beside that, this constitution also gave room to what we call the print media. It led to the formation of newspapers in Nigeria. The first print media to be initiated in Nigeria is the Lagos Daily News. The Lagos Daily News was initiated in the year 1925 by the same guy, Herbert Macaulay, to whom is the grandson of Samuel Ajayi Crowther. But beside that, the constitution actually gave right to Nigerians or Africans to participate more in the affair of their state. Okay, so more Africans were able to participate in the affair of their state. We'll discuss the composition in few sec. You know, if you remember when I talked about the Nigeria Council, the composition of that Nigeria Council, there were about 36 members in it. Okay, and in the long run, about 6 members were selected from Nigeria out of 36. So it means about 30 members were from Britain. And in this constitution of Clifford, the members increased from about the number 6 to a higher rate of number, which is 13. And there we'll still discuss why did the colonial master increase the membership to that extent, and how was it encompassing all part of the country. So beside that, other good thing this constitution actually still gave to Nigeria was to aid what we call executive council. So he gave executive council to Nigeria political system. And beside that, just that a lot of Nigeria was not actually represented in that body, executive council. But beside this constitution actually masterminded a lot of aggressive actions in Nigeria. And I will talk about these aggressive actions that was masterminded from this constitution in the demerit of this Clifford constitution. Mind you, don't forget that the first constitution to be initiated in Nigeria is the Clifford Constitution of the year 1922. So, what was the demerit of this constitution? The number one, the elective principle Clifford gave to Nigeria did not encompass all parts of the country. It was only restricted to the southern part of Nigeria. Basically, it was restricted to Lagos and Calabar, whereby three members were elected from the Lagos, and one member was elected from Calabar, and that was not favorable. And beside that, the number two demerit of this Clifford Constitution is that the Clifford Constitution did not give equal franchise to all members in the country. As a matter of fact, the kind of franchise that was practiced under Clifford Constitution is the limited franchise. It was actually limited male adult suffrage. Not just that, this male adult suffrage was also limited to income qualification of about £100 annually. It means that if you are under Clifford as at that time, you must be a male adult to be able to vote. Not just that, you must have annual income of £100 annually in your account. So if you are a male adult, you don't have such amount of money in your account, you have no right to be voted for, or you have no right to exercise your franchise. But beside that, the Legislative Council, which is number three, that was given to Nigeria, it was only restricted to the southern part of Nigeria, which was crazy, and it was not actually nice for the Northerners. But in the long run, how was the Northerners governed? The Northerners was governed through what we call the General Governor Proclamation. So it was through proclamation the General Governor Clifford used in governing the northern part of the country. Now, basically, because this guy, Clifford, placed in members from SAC to be part of this house, okay, in the long run, what happened? The Clifford Constitution actually masterminded more of the payment of tax in the South. So because of the increase in the payment of tax in the South, it led to plenty big challenges, led to led to a lot of problems in the South. Basically, he aided two main riots as at that time: the Warri Province riot of 1927 and the Abawume riot of 1929, and we'll still discuss that. Now, the other disadvantage of this Clifford Constitution is that um, the executive council he gave to Nigeria was not actually permitted to represent in that body. So it was not favorable for Nigerians. Even the same Clifford, which is under the merit, had unprecedented and veto power to accept or reject any decision they gave to him. It was actually having a veto power. You understand? So if they bring a decision, bring something, a suggestion, he have the ability to accept or reject without accountability. You understand? But beside, what was the composition of this Clifford Constitution of 1922? Like I said, it gave us Nigerians the Legislative Council 1922. So how many members were in that Legislative Council? The Legislative Council basically was made up of about 46 members. It was divided into two parts. We have official members. We also have unofficial members. The official members that were a part of these 46 members, all of them were British. They were 27 in number. But the unofficial members were 19. And out of the 19, we had British members, we also have Nigerians. But in that unofficial member, the British were 6 members, while the Nigerians were 13 members. And the 13 members that were there were Nigerians per se. They represented the interests of Nigeria to the extent at which they could. But that 13 members that were Nigerians, 4 of them were elected, 3 from Lagos and 1 from Calabar, and the remaining 9 were nominated by the general governor itself, named Clifford. So that was the composition of this Clifford Constitution. But Clifford, like I said, was the second general governor from the year 1919 to the year 1925. So after he left position from 1925 to the year 1931, the other third general governor was Kramer Thompson. So when Kramer Thompson was in position, the arrangement of Clifford actually existed create a lot of problem under the administration of Kramer Thompson. One of the effects of Clifford Constitution under Kramer Thompson administration was a riot. The riot was the Warrior Province riot of 1927. It was led by Eda Ontondo, and the riot existed because of the increase in the payment of tax in the South. Not just that, under the same guy, Kramer Thompson, the third general governor from 1925 to the year 1931, another riot occurred, and they call this riot Aba Women Riot in 1929. This Aba Women Riot involved over 10,000 women. It was led by Mary Unwayeruwa, and this riot led to the killing of about 50 women, and 50 women was even injured and one man was killed as well in this riot. But in all, what was the reason for the Aba Women riot? Because of the same taxation that was placed to the system of South by Clifford. And all of this effect was occurring under the third general governor, Kramer Thompson. So Kramer Thompson left position in the year 1931. The next general governor that entered position was a guy called Donald Charles Cameron. Donald Charles Cameron did not actually do a lot of things in Nigeria. So, but despite the administration was maladministration, which was callous, inhumane, and barbaric to the civilization. But despite that, after Donald Charles Cameron left position, the person that replaced Donald Charles Cameron was a guy called Bernard Bodilon. Bernard Bodilon was having a different perspective or idea about the Nigeria system. He was trying to create a lot of things into Nigeria system, even initiating another new constitution. Well, I will discuss about Bernard Bodilon and further general governors in the next video. Thank you so much. God bless.